We respectfully request the Sangha of great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ Pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh. Tịnh chuyên diệu Pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đắc lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sadanto Suchedo Ye Ola Hudi San Miao San Puto Se. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tô Già Đà Già A La Ha Đế Tam Miêu Nam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu sheng 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 wei miao fa bai qian, 万劫难遭遇，我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master, 6th Patriarch, Great Master, 1st Patriarch, all good monks and nuns, and all good advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、六祖师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Lục Tổ, Hòa Thượng Tiến Hóa, quý thầy cô và các vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 19th of November 2022. We're here in Dharma Treasury Temple with our wonderful children. Look at them, a few of them carrying offering cups of tea. Here to continue discussing the 6th Patriarch Sutra. We're near the end of chapter 2. Careful, don't burn yourself. Thank you. We're on slide. Thank you. We're on slide 250. No, I was sorry. Okay. Today starts at 2:44, but I remember vaguely last time we talked about something and we ran out of time, so I rushed through it a little bit. I want to stress this. This is important to understand. The Patriarch says, if you hope to and intend to transform others, you must use expedient means. And don't cause them to have doubts, and then their self-nature will manifest. This is it is important to emphasizes understanding that I know many of you have the aspiration to help others, your family, your friends, and so forth. And so, and you want to transform, I mean, you change them for the better, if you will. Change them from being confused to having wisdom. Okay, that's what we all wish to do. We want to transform them from being unhappy people to accomplished and happy people. And therefore, it's quite often I hear people wishing to do that. And you need to, okay, have experience is the exact Chinese instruction. You must have experience. Okay, you must have skill in means. Skill in means in Mahayana refers to something very specific. Not just like I read about Buddhism, I listened to a lecture today, and let me use it to transform you. It doesn't work like that. In order to transform others, to help others, really truly help others, you can look at transform as to truly help others. Okay, because if you don't have wisdom, you think you're helping others, actually the bottom line is you're helping yourself. As long as you still have a self, as long as you have not conquered your selfish desires, everything you do is tainted by selfish motives. And therefore, it's very important for you to understand that in order to help others, you must have experience. Experience here refers to the kinds of wisdom that you have to develop after you become enlightened. The Patriarch's teaching is very, very precise, because you hope if you hope and intend to be of really help to others, okay, that's very common aspiration. Keep on hearing people talk about transform your wife, transform your friends, transform the loved ones. You must have true wisdom. Okay, this is so important to emphasize this. Okay, unless you have true wisdom, we can't really help others. Okay, and again, experience here, 方便 here. Okay, you must have experience, meaning you must have the wisdom to use experience, not just knowledge. Okay, and so this experience here refers to the kind of wisdom that you develop after you become enlightened. Okay, after you become enlightened, then you work on developing the kinds of wisdom that is more useful to others, that you can help others. And this is why it's so important, even in Buddhism and Mahayana, even after you're enlightened, you still are not skilled enough yet to help others. You must continue to cultivate. It's not the end of the line, because you definitely need higher level wisdom to really be of service to society. Okay, so the Patriarch doesn't mince words. He's telling us the truth. This is the bottom line with with the level of Buddhist practices in the world. Not only nowadays we monks and nuns struggle to be enlightened, but even so, after those monks and nuns who are enlightened, they really still are not at a position to really help others because they don't have expedient skills, skill in means, if you will. That's what I see in so many places, okay? That's what I saw at various temples I've been to. The people don't understand the importance of helping, especially teachers, helping the students develop higher level of wisdom, transcendental wisdom that is designed to help others attain transcendental wisdom themselves. Any questions or comments about this? Go ahead, JC.
Like 8th ground or higher bodhisattvas. So,
Repeat the question, please. We lost the first part.
Master, in the past lectures, you mentioned that the experience, you need to reach like 8th ground bodhisattva or higher. So does it mean that if you want to teach somebody, you have to be higher than like 8th ground? Because you can't use the expedient below?
Usually when you reach 8th ground, you are skilled enough. But you can reach around 7th ground bodhisattva levels, then you begin to develop expedient wisdom to deploy expedience. Below that, unfortunately, the bodhisattvas don't really have enough wisdom to help people. Okay, and that's why quite often in this Dharma ending age, the bodhisattva, those who become enlightened, they begin to work too soon. They don't have enough, really enough skills yet, and that's why they struggle in their spiritual practices, in their helping others. Okay, so short answer, 7th or higher. Okay, so even when we talk about 7th, it's just the beginning. They begin to develop the skills, but they're not that skilled yet until you reach, well, I'm not going to tell you. The more I tell you, the more you ask questions, and I can't answer anymore. Okay, so just get the concept that it's quite a bit of work. Don't try to save people too soon. So what happens in Mahayana, basically, don't worry about skill level. Just don't come down from the mountain until your teacher tells you to. All right. Don't cause them to have doubts, and then their self-nature will manifest. Okay? So in the era of the Master Huineng's era, he says the burden of you trying to save people is on you. Okay, because these people that you teach, the students, your students are superior beings. That's why you only need to make sure that you don't cause them to have doubts. That's all you have to do. Okay? So it's imperative for you as teachers, for the superior students, is to avoid causing them to have doubts. And I started last week by telling you that it's probably better for our times. I didn't specify our times. That's why I thought I would spell it out for you. In our Dharma ending age, most of us don't have the blessings anymore. And therefore, it's going to get worse in the future, where the beings don't understand the importance of planting blessings. And if they are told, like many Buddhist disciples, to plant blessings, they don't know how to do it right. Okay? And that's why, case in point, the proof is, for example, Master YongHua, when he was alive, he was here for a long, long time, 60s to the 90s, so it's around 30 years. That's one lifetime, that's one generation of teachings. Okay? 30 years for us in Buddhism is about one generation. It takes about each generation has about 30 years to pass on their knowledge, to do their work, to do their practice, and so forth. And so Master YongHua here is about one generation. So he spent his lifetime teaching us here. Unfortunately, when he was alive, he wasn't that popular. Okay, much lesser teachers who are only worthy to be students of his students' students, 3 levels below him, were real popular. Okay, so that's why that's an indication that the great teachers are no longer recognized. And just the way it is. And now, it's funny, after he died, that's when I saw a lot of people coming to the temples and crying and praying to him for miracles. Because after he died, he has a lot of like 6,000 or 7,000 shariras, which are the evidence that he's a great sage. Okay, so in a Dharma ending age, it's not about doubts anymore. It's about for these people with lesser blessings, fewer blessings, and more confused. What you need to do is inspire them to have faith. Okay, that's my advice to all of you. Because the lesser teachers, they don't have the wisdom. That's why they tend to kowtow to the disciples instead of inspiring or developing the disciples' faith. Okay. And so, if you help them to develop faith, the self nature, I will modify this a little bit for you. Their self nature will manifest sooner. Back then, in the 6th Patriarch's era, the people were very blessed, so that when they met the great teachers, and somehow the teachers could manage to avoid causing doubts in the students. So, for example, they have this awe, or they have this appearance, or whatever. Okay, or they have this kung fu, whatever. People are very sensitive. They could sense your level as compared to the other teachers. So when you do that, the special people, will be able to see their nature. Okay? But not anymore, unfortunately. I don't see it happen that often anymore. Okay. Any questions about this? 244 text. The Buddha Dharma is here in the world. Enlightenment is not apart from the world. To search for Bodhi apart from the world is like looking for hair with horns.
佛法在世间，不离世间觉，离世觅菩提，恰如求兔角。
Okay, question from Kong.
영원 선생님 안녕하세요. 아까 올바른 복을 심는 방법을 모른다라고 하셨는데 올바르게 복을 심으려면 어떻게 하는 게 좋은가요?
How can I plant the right blessing?
How can you plant the right blessings? The first rule of thumb is to go near the patriarchs and their disciples. For example, you know of a patriarch called Master YongHua. That's the only one known you know of so far by name. There's also a second patriarch in the United States already. He chose to not come out yet or ever. Who knows? He's a patriarch, so he can do whatever he wishes. But you know, there's the Mahayana line of transmission is centered around the patriarchs. So you can't go wrong there. So you go to Master YongHua and you plant blessing with him. Okay, and unfortunately he's dead already, so you can't do much right now. So you can stick around his disciples and so forth. I rather favor, because what I saw of the results of his predecessor, Great Master Xu Yun, and him, their descendants are not that good. For some reason, okay, and so if you want to be conservative, the way the Chinese did it is they stuck to that lineage of patriarchs, and you draw near the patriarchs. I'm sorry, this is what the Chinese have over us. You may disagree with me, but this is the facts speak for themselves. The Chinese are better than us, historically. And so in Mahayana, the Chinese have great Mahayana roots. That's why the patriarchs chose to come to China in order to help Buddhism last longer. Buddhism needs disciples. We need to search for people with potential so that we can train them. Okay, so the question is not just you planting blessing, but it's also us helping you plant blessings as well. Okay, and so in China, you have these great teachers, the bodhisattvas who came to the world and manifest themselves as the patriarchs and so forth. And so they transmitted the Dharma from one patriarch to the next, one bodhisattva to the next. And what happened is that ensured the continuation of Mahayana that is available to the population. And so the Chinese have great roots, they have great blessings, and historically that's the case. But nowadays, the Mahayana has been transferred to the U.S. because it turns out the people here have greater potential than the Chinese. Okay, and so So that's why you plant blessings along that lineage, along that main artery of transmission of Buddhism. That's called Mahayana lineages. So if you're in China, you're in Asia, then you might want to go to China to plant blessings with the known patriarchs, meaning Master Xu Yun, and the one before that, I forgot the names of the ones before him and so forth. How do you plant blessings with them? You plant blessings with them by, printing the sutras, okay? And promoting the teachings and so forth. That's planting great blessings of Mahayana. It's very important because remember, Mahayana main purpose is continuation. We want to make sure that the knowledge from one generation passes on to the next, and then to the next, and to the next. That's the main thing. So what is passed on? Their knowledge. The patriarch's knowledge. So that's why you may want to print the Patriarch Sutras. That's how you plant blessings. Okay, I know the Chinese, many Chinese disciples or Taiwanese disciples, they print a lot of sutras from all kinds of monks and nuns. I'm of the belief that I will only touch patriarchs' materials. If you are not a patriarch from an Orthodox lineage, the proper Mahayana transmission line right there, starting from Mahakashyapa, next to Ananda and so forth, you go down that line, okay? And that's where the great Mahayana teaching resides, as is being transmitted. So you want to help along that line. I read a lot of texts from the non-patriarchs, and I'm disappointed, actually. They are not very useful. Okay, and yet the Chinese, they spend so much money, so many resources to print those things. I come in point, the Buddha's Education Network or something. It's a organization based in Taiwan. They give out Tripitaka copies, either hard copies, electronic formats, and so forth. So they reprint a lot of things, which is great. But it turns out that they spend too much money, as far as I'm concerned, on the non-patriarch materials, which is a shame because it's confusing. Okay, it shows that these people don't really have wisdom yet. Okay? And so, again, going back to the question, you want to plant blessings with the patriarch lineages. So in China, print and help translate the patriarch's teachings. Here in the U.S., you have great Master YongHua, who is the last known patriarch. So help and study his teachings, and I feel he's by far a better patriarch that I know for the last few centuries, and so you help along there, you plant your blessings there. That's for sure, okay, and that's your best bet. All right, you start first with that. And then you pray to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to be able to meet with a good no advisor who can guide you in your practice, because those printings are useless unless someone reads them and practices them and is able to certify to the fruitions. And that's the best way to plant blessings. Wei Mao.
I first like to thank the Buddha and Bodhisattvas for allowing me to meet with a good knowing advisor. Second, I want to focus in on a comment that you made about how people used to go up to masters and be in such awe that they were, their doubt was eradicated and they reached new levels. I've personally been in awe of both you and your disciples' level and ability. But how should I, or when somebody has that experience, how should it affect them? Of being in awe of somebody's samadhi.
I'm not aware that you probably are the first one who is in awe, so I'm lost as to what to do about that. Sorry. We don't mean to awe people. Okay, so you probably are mistaken, in my humble opinion. So it's if we somehow create awe in you, then we are wrong. We don't intend to. So it's probably your imagination. It's my first reaction. Am I correct? I mean, I hope you don't try to impress people, because this is never our intention to impress people. So it's not so much about awe that you talked about. It's such a worldly thing. You practice, you develop faith in the Buddha, in the practice itself, because you see results in yourself. Who we are, what we do, is irrelevant. It's all about you. All about what you get out of our efforts, and whether the knowledge from our generation is passed on to you. And that's the main thing for us. Okay? So I'm sorry you were in awe, or we did something wrong. We have to fix that problem. Wei Mountain.
Thank you, Master. I just want to say that I am going to be, I'm wrapping up my time here as far as the...
Oh no, you're going to leave us for the Pure Land? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, not yet. Hey, come on now. Don't push me around, okay? No, I just meant that I basically finished the meditation retreat.
Excuse me. Hey, listen, we still have the tea still lasts until like early part of January. That's what you're wrapping it up. That's oh my God.
Oh no! I'm wrapping up my week only.
Oh, okay.
And I apologize, but I do have to head home because my mother is coming for Thanksgiving and will be staying with me for a week. So I won't be able to participate actively next week. But I didn't even plan to come this week. Somehow things just happened that I could find the time, and I was able to come, and I'm really grateful about it. I think I also fasted the whole week, and then I decided to try my best on trying to do a 24-hour sit, which I have to say I wasn't perfect. My foot kept slipping down, and when I fell asleep, I laid down. But in a couple hours, I had to sit up. And I just kept trying. But I'm really grateful because I was able to deal with those issues you brought up last Sunday. I feel I was able to. And thank you so much, Master, for teaching me last Sunday. I really, really appreciate it. Because I was able to actually kind of get to the crux of something that's been holding me back. I'm very happy about that.
What was the teaching? Remind me again.
Well, okay.
In Vietnamese, there's a saying like "chó ngáp phải ruồi." It's like
What's that mean?
it means like the dog yawns and then it catches the fly.
Okay, no, I didn't catch any flies. Okay, so
No, it implies that we just got lucky. That's all. Because catching a fly with your mouth is very difficult. I don't care how good you are, how fast you are.
okay, so
The Vietnamese is very humorous,
Yes.
sometimes. Probably Central Vietnam.
So what happened is that you were talking about several people, and you were talking about people and visions, and you happened to mention my name.
I did.
And you did. I didn't realize you mentioned my name because I had just got out of my car and I walked up into the Buddha hall, and you were talking about me during the time that I had gotten out. I was listening to the Dharma talk as I was driving. So I thought I heard everything, but apparently just as I came in or something, or maybe right before, you had mentioned my name, and I didn't know it by the time I came in and I sat down. And then later that night, Sarah wrote to me and said, "Hey, did you watch last night? Did you watch the lecture tonight?" And I said, "Oh, I listened to the first part and then I came in." And she goes, "Well, did you hear that he said your name?" I said, "No, I didn't hear it all." So then I listened to the whole thing and I found the gap when I was walking. I turned off the car and I was walking up. And I really listened to that. And it really, really helped me. So the thing is that I seem to want to tell people about themselves. And you made a very good comment to me, which I really appreciated. You said, how come it's more like, why are you looking at them and you don't even look at yourself?
Wow. Did I say that?
You said that.
That's impressive. I'm in awe.
Oh, come on. No, you did. You said that. So I knew.
I'm in
right
awe
away
that you even paid attention.
Well,
Never
duh,
mind.
yeah, of course. I was paying attention. So I really looked at that, and I saw that what my problem is that I was really, in growing up, I had a very difficult time with my mom. And since the moment I was born,
Parents, yeah.
I'm sorry, but c'est la vie. So I had a very hard time and a very difficult childhood. And I got to see and realize that I was basically spoon-fed, that I was unworthy since the moment I was born. So I had to overcome that. And I didn't have like the bigger picture, of now that's what's holding me back. That's why I never looked at myself. That's why I looked at other people. That's
Don't
why
feel
I
bad.
wanted to help other people.
As you speak, I can think of many disciples of Master YongHua who became enlightened and they're still seeking for his approval. It's just like you seeking your mom's approval.
Right. But now, I just got to see it so much clearer about me. Here I am at my age, looking at my life.
Looking very good, as a matter of fact.
Oh, thank you. But then looking at the whole thing, and I realized, hey, that's stopping me. All that junk that
You all look so nice.
that was stopping me. So I'm very grateful, Master, for this, having this time. And thank you so much for helping me with my cultivation. And I want to give a shout out to Venerable XS for having to listen to me complained quite a bit and helped me get to the root of all this. And I thank her for, and you as well, for allowing me to have that meeting with the temple doctor. So
okay.
that just kind of like was confirmation that this is what's going on with me. And to leave it in the past.
So what did he say? It's just a gossip a little bit. What did he say about you?
Well, he said
What
a
did
lot
he
of things I
see?
didn't understand, you know.
What did he see?
He basically said that I was thinking too much. Well, yeah, I came in wanting to grapple with this issue. And he says, you stop thinking so much. And he said that leave those problems in the past. They're in the past. And be right now, here.
Nice.
So that helped.
Okay, very good.
So thank you, Master.
Well, thank you for the
appreciate it.
feedback. I wish you happy holidays and have a good time with your family.
Thank you so
Happy
much.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Way Mountain, question.
Thank you, Master. I'm really intrigued by your comments about planting seeds with Great Master YongHua and Great Master Shuyun by publishing their sutras or their talks. Would doing so in an online format be appropriate? And if so, can you give any like non-academic guidance on the appropriate way to do that?
If you were to invest in a patriarch's, helping the propagation of patriarch's teachings, I would devote my time on Master YongHua's teachings, which I feel are far better than Master Shuyun. Okay, as far as patriarchs, I don't know a lot of Chinese patriarchs because they're before my time, but the ones I've read, or the known Chinese teachers, because I did extend my search beyond the patriarchs as well. And I found out that, in my opinion, Master YongHua is by far the best one. So if you help publish his teachings, it will encompass all the other patriarchs' teachings. All the other patriarchs are contained within his teachings. So I would stick to Master YongHua's teachings. Okay? And this is why, to me, I find it so deplorable that the second patriarch doesn't quite understand that yet, and that they're holding that teaching hostage in their library, okay? Whereas the patriarch's teachings are meant to be available to everyone freely. And you can do whatever you want with it. We have no fear. You want to distort it, you want to do whatever your imagination wants you to do. We have no problems with it. Okay, but it has to be available so that the people who are wiser than us can learn from it. Because what happened is that we are low level in Master YongHua, and therefore whatever I say and speak about his teachings, elaborate his teachings, is being filtered by my own limitations. So that's why you want to transcend it by making the teaching available without you, okay? So that in that raw format, and that's. But Master YongHua, unfortunately, he's too humble. When he's alive, he didn't spell it out for them. But I feel it necessary for me, my generation, to remind ourselves. And it's too late now because I'm a nobody. No one believes me. No one listens to me anyway. But in your future generations, when his teachings are available, we should help propagate more and more of it. Okay. So concentrate on his teaching is my simple answer. Or if you want to learn from the patriarchs, I would focus solely on him, and that's plenty for a lifetime of learning. It's a tip. Trust me, you will not regret it. And why do I tell you? Because if you do it, you get far greater blessings. I get a share of that.
Thank you, Master. I'm always happy to give you points on top.
Thank you.
Quick follow-up. I really appreciate your guidance, and I am 100% happy to focus on Great Master Shenhua. The two quick follow-ups. Number one, how do you prefer his name to be spelled? Because I've seen two different spellings. And number two, when you say make his teachings available without me, if I post it online, should I reference like a library or a resource where people can find more of his teachings?
Here's my problem. These people who are supposed to be responsible for the transmission of the Dharma is not doing a good job. They're limiting the amount of transmission. The transmission of the Dharma is that you give it out raw. Okay, here's what he taught. Take whatever you can use out of it. Okay, you don't say that I give you this because I feel it's better for you. You don't filter it. Okay, it's so wrong to do that. That's why I'm very disappointed. Okay, so therefore I don't look at them as such people as the authority on what he teaches. I absolutely don't subscribe to their claims that we are the descendants and we are responsible for transmission. You may be responsible, maybe descendants on paper, but you're not good descendants. You are not doing good transmission, okay? And I'm entitled to say that, okay? I'm supposed to say that, that's all. And so you say, how do I increase credibility? I'm sorry, you don't want to use them as reference at all. So you're on your own, okay? Just say, you can steal it from the original files. And again, if you do that, blame it on me. Blame it on me. Stealing a Dharma is a very serious offense, extremely serious offense. But in this case here, I give you an exemption because I will assume responsibility for it because I feel that eventually it will be made available. So if any of you find a way to break into the library or break into the databases and steal it, it will put more pressure on them, make it available faster before they lose all claims, okay, to it. Okay, so and again, when you steal, don't steal my temple because in our temples we don't steal. But I will assume responsibility, meaning that I'd be stupid for the rest of eternity. You steal the Dharma, it's very severe, okay? Very, very severe. But I assure you we will do this in order to benefit others, not to benefit ourselves, okay? So it's too late for me now. I'm too old to learn anything new. Let's face it. So you steal the Dharma here, and if you can, if you can hack into the database, or many of you are very good at that, I love it. And it's something for all these hackers out there, huh? Do that. Or if you're into spies and ninja work, go into the DRBU library. They have this room here. They're full of tapes. Steal them, okay? And don't quote me. But make it available, okay, and so that it puts pressure on these people to speed up the propagation, because someone has to shake the tree to wake them up. Okay? Now I regret speaking Dharma for coming here to DTT. Okay. JC.
Oh, I didn't.
Hello, Master. If we copy and paste what is already online from their website or something, that's not considered to be a stealing, right? If I translate or some of our lay people translate that into Korean and post on Korean blog or something, because it's already in the public information, like on their website.
It could be copyrighted, and they have some stuff that are copyrighted. So do we. Okay, but I don't know about them. When we say copyrighted on our side, we just say copyrighted. We will never enforce it. Meaning, we just say it for the sake of saying it, but we'll never enforce it. And if you steal from me, it's not stealing from me, because I don't care. Steal all you want. Because tonight I want to make it official. Since I proclaim it's okay to steal his Dharma from them, then also it's fair you steal from me. Steal the Dharma, make it available. I don't care. And you can twist it and you can make money off it. I can't care less. Just make it available. That's all.
Oh, Master, if I email their people and ask if we can translate this particular contents, and that's okay, right?
Nah, don't even ask. Let them sue you. Okay? I doubt they sue you at all. When they do, I'll pay for your lawyer's fees. Just you. Okay, Q&A.
Brilliant. Oh.
Don't
Also, I don't
ask.
think-
Just don't ask. It's okay. We're doing Dharma propagation. That's all. And we're not, as long as we're not making money, okay? We're not doing this for money. So there's no reason for anyone to sue us. Least of all them. We're doing the work for them. Q&A. Did I answer your question? Do you have another one?
No, it's okay. Because we actually we just translated one small booklet that's distributed for free into Korean regarding the explanation of refugees in 5 precepts with Sang-Hok S님. Yeah, so we posted online, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Yeah, just use materials, whatever materials you have. It's perfectly okay. They did some good things, and there's some things that are inadequate. They fall short of my expectations. That's all. So that's life, and you take both the good and the bad. Okay, don't worry about it. As far as Master Shenhua's Dharma goes, do whatever you feel is appropriate. Okay, I don't think he minds at all. I don't care what his disciples think. Huh? Hey, young man. Okay, Q&A. I can't believe I just publicly encourage people to steal. Oh my God. My name will go down in infamy. And you all have to do is extract this portion called non-Dharma glimpse. This is what you don't do. Q&A? No Q&A?
No Q&A.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we cannot hear you.
He's miming me. Check your sound, please. We'd love to hear your comments. I'm provoking his disciples. Master Shema disciples, true descendants.
Hello, Master?
Yes,
You can hear me?
yes, now we can hear you.
All right, thanks. So my question is that in the 6th Patriarch script, that it looks like more on the insights rather than the cultivation, like step-by-step instructions. Why a lot of the script doesn't include the method of training, like step-by-step?
It's because his teaching is classified as sudden teaching. Sudden teaching has two characteristics. Number one, it's words. It's by sound. Okay? Someone has to tell you, have to give you instructions. Number two, when you hear the instructions, you experience sudden enlightenment. If that's the case, why do you need instructions for step-by-step cultivation? So Great Master Huineng's teaching is different from the other teachers. Okay? For example, Master YongHua teaching is combination of both gradual and sudden teaching. So that's why at first I love his teaching. I was intrigued by his teaching and drawn to his teaching and in awe of his teaching because he spelled out the exact steps, how to do it, more than any other patriarchs before him. Chinese, Japanese, Sri Lankan, Myanmar, all those people, I read a lot of those teachings, okay? And they lack the specificity of the tasks or the steps. So Master Shema is so beautiful in that he spells it out, and if you do that properly, you will get there. So that's his characteristics. And then after I started looking at the instructions, again, because I had to elaborate them for his disciples as well as my disciples. And I realized his instructions actually contain sudden instructions as well. So his is a combination of gradual and sudden teaching. Master Huineng, in contrast, at different times. And these recordings are the recordings of him teaching people who have been ready, who were ready for the sudden teaching. Okay? So it's a different audience. So that's why this is more advanced teachings, if you will. Okay? Does it help?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's different audience. Okay? And in particular, even if, like himself, Master Huineng, who really didn't have received any specific steps in his cultivation, okay? He was eking out living to support his mother, okay? He struggled so much, he suffered so much. And he listened to one line of the Vajra Sutra, he certified the 4th stage Arhat. Okay, and then he went to see the 5th Patriarch, who told him go work. That's the only instruction he had. So he went and worked. Okay, and because his nature of blessings, he worked right. Okay, he worked properly, and that kind of work, okay, is actually chan cultivation. Okay? And so you see, he's different. So So when this sutra was recorded here, his verses here actually geared more for the superior cultivators who were ready to receive the certain teaching. Okay, so those are very, very advanced individuals with great level of blessings, and they've been ready for it. We are not. Okay. So that's why, for example, when I first started explaining the sutra, my disciples are at a low level. So I followed the Chinese style explanation, Master Xinhua and all those people, because it's appropriate for the level. Now the level much higher. So I have to stress more on the certain teaching side of Master Huineng. So that's why people ask me, which version do you want? I said, I want both versions in our sutra explanation. I want both the Chinese style version, which is for low level people, and our English style of explanation, which is for high level and Chinese audience. Remember, Master Xinhua, when he explained his Patriarch Sutra, was geared towards a specific audience as well. Okay? I feel that if he were to explain the sutra to our disciples, would be quite a bit higher than the way he explained it in his published books. All right, YouTube.
Thank you, Master.
Thank you, Master. YouTube question from Jane Clymer. Have all the cassette tapes of Master Shenhua's teaching been digitized yet?
And there's a mountain of them. So I suggest you bring at least 20 ninja warriors. I admit to you, I used to sit there and figure out, let's see, if I get 2 cassette tapes, small ones, I sneak them, put in my pocket, I pretend to go to the library, and how many can I copy? How long would it take? I did have those elaborate plans myself. And then they recognize me, so can't do it. So it's easiest to move them out, copy them and move them back. Anything else? Yes. Number 3. I'm glad there's no callers here because I'm known to have a certain persona. People say I'm like
Emitofuo Master.
No chauvinist? I don't know why people would say that.
Are there monks, nuns, and lay people in Master Shenhua's temple? They know that he's teaching in those tapes and listen to it? Because I saw in Berkeley Monastery Temple, they pick like Infinity Light Sutra and keep explain it or translate it years and years. And I read through it, the sutra. I didn't understand much about it, but it's mainly about 4 Noble Truths and some mantra. And
is this from Master Xinhua explanations or?
No, it's from original Chinese translation. Okay. Nothing to do with Master Xinhua, but they spend years translating it. And I think they may not know that Master Xinhua's teaching is around, and all they have to do is just translate it to the audience.
You can't blame them. Whatever they do is under the approval of the abbot. Okay, when you're an abbot, anything and everything happens in your temple, it's your karmas. You bear the burden. Okay? So the people in the temple screw up. You have to bear the burden. Okay? So the Chinese style, I noticed, for example, Master Sheng Yi, who is a disciple of Master Xu Yun. Master Sheng Yi is 6th round, Xu Yun is 8th round. Master Sheng Yi, I'm indebted to him. He's the one who encouraged me to continue. Without him, I probably would have dropped out. Okay? But he explained the Xin Jing, the Heart Sutra. He would repeatedly explain that. He would go invited to different places, speak Dharma. He would explain the Xin Jing. And so when I read his teachings, it's two versions of the Xin Jing, the Heart Sutra that he explained. Okay, so this is quite typical of the Chinese teachers to specialize in a sutra and they elaborate and teach it over and over again. Okay, and that's okay back then. But now with the age of the internet, it would be wasting the listeners' time because they could have listened it on YouTube or from a CD or DVD somewhere else. Okay, so for me, for someone nowadays in our era to go over it time and time again is not a good use of their time and the audience time. So it tells me that these people really are filling times. They really are not doing much. Okay, I wouldn't do that. I feel that it's premature for them to speak the Dharma, and that's why they have to repeat themselves over nonsense. When you speak the Dharma and you say the wrong things, you go to the hells, you go to the animal realm. Okay? It's very serious offense. You speak the wrong Dharma. Okay? And that's one of the things, for example, that's why I feel that many of the Pure Land, the famous Pure Land teachers who've been teaching the Pure Land Dharma, and when they pass away, I actually complained to Amitabha Buddha and said, if you accept him, I have a hard time sending my people to you. Because it's not fair. Okay? They doing the teaching all the wrong things, and we're teaching all the right things to a handful of people, and they all end up in the same place. Then why should I do this? I might as well stop. Because I'm trying to rectify something that's been done wrong that will get people in trouble. And if people do that and they suffer no consequences, I might as well stop. My work is useless. It's inconsequential. And I wasn't expecting Amitabha Buddha to listen to me. But that's one of the reasons why some of the teachers didn't make it to the Pure Land, I think. Because I would have a hard time accepting it. So stealing the Dharma is a very serious offense. And you explain the Dharma wrong, so she is even more serious. Okay? And so for people, like my students, I mean, they are at a very high level already, but they still are not ready to be trained to speak the Dharma yet. Whereas these people, I know those kids at that particular temple you mentioned, they're greenhorns. they're a third generation. They don't have any wisdom yet. What are they doing speaking of Dharma? I would stick to playing Master Shenhua's tapes. Even if people get bored, they fall asleep. If it only reaches the ears of the right way to one person, then your blessings are incredible. Whereas you speak the wrong Dharma over and over again, you are adding more reasons for you to fall and your bosses to fall as well. It carries some consequences. YouTube.
Thank you, Master. We have 2 questions from YouTube. Number 1, from Bante Verapano. Dear Master, without relying on any outside source, how can we simply determine our level of understanding or insight?
You can't. You don't have enough wisdom. So in Buddhism, for most of you who are not enlightened yet, you need for an enlightened person to certify that you have wisdom. Do not count on yourself. If you are so sure that you're enlightened, you have wisdom, okay, then you're wrong. There's only one possibility. You're so wrong. Think about it. Next question.
Okay, thank you, Master. This question is from Burke Demarici. Dear Master, thank you for the lecture today. How can we maintain our practice when we are in a noisy and violent environment for a period of time?
You don't practice by yourself. You people have a problem, unlike the Mahayana disciples. Mahayana disciples follow the good no advisors. You decide how to practice yourself. I wish you luck. Anyone else? Okay, thank you for your patience. We ramble a lot. Going back to this teaching here from the 6th Patriarch, on slide 245, he says, the Buddha Dharma is here in the world, meaning that you want to seek the Buddha Dharma, it's right here in the world. You don't have to run away anywhere. It's right here in the temple. It's right there in the marketplace. It's right there in a Japanese temple, at least part of it. Okay, so it's here in the world. Okay, it's very, very true. It's here in the world. So you do not need to go away from the world in order to find the Buddha Dharma, in order, in particular, to cultivate the Buddha Dharma. Enlightenment is not apart from the world. He says, you want to be enlightened? That enlightenment does not need to be apart from the ordinary life. The world here refers to your ordinary life, your life, people's lives, society, civilization. Okay? That's what he's referring to. So enlightenment is not apart from the world, meaning that in the midst of the world, in the midst of the noise, in the midst of children speaking and crying and screaming and playing around, you still can become enlightened. There's no need to repress them. No need to object to them. No need to get afflicted by them. If you listen to that, you see the children and they make a lot of noises and they break the statues and so forth, okay? And if that happens and you are perfectly unruffled and unaffected, you probably are close to being enlightened. Truly. And those who are pretending not to be ruffled, you're quite far from it. Okay? So it's a test. Okay? You ask yourself, if the kids run around and when this great master here, Master YongHua, no, I mean, excuse me, speaking of Dharma, where is the respect for the great Dharma, for the great master, for the religious institution that we put so much effort in mounting TVs and lights and audios and videos and all this money, huh? Where, what happened? Your mind moves. And if in the midst of this, your mind doesn't move, that is enlightenment right there. You don't need to go to the wilderness or you hide behind four walls, and say, I don't want to see you because you're too noisy, you're too afflicted. Children are noisy, children are afflicted. But if you do it right, they can help you become enlightened right now. Enlightenment is right now. That's what he's saying. It can't happen right now. It's not happening, it's because of you. It's not because of the children. Is that clear? When are you going to wake up? So for people to run away from the world, again, from into the wilderness or into by hiding behind the walls, and I hope that after I die, you in third generation will not hide behind the walls and still engage in the world, because you will find enlightenment there. Okay? All the noises, all these things, if you do it right, actually are much more helpful in helping you find enlightenment. And then if you were to segregate yourself from a real world. Okay? Meaning that you have wisdom. Then you go to work, you apply yourself. That, right there, is also helpful in your enlightenment, in your opening your wisdom. Don't say, I wish I don't have to go to work and like Master, devote his life in cultivating a Dharma. You don't know that. Okay? You don't know what I do. I sleep when you're not paying attention. So, and that's what the 6th Patriarch is saying. Remember, he became enlightened. It was not clear, but I suspect he became enlightened when he was threshing the rice for 8 months. That's what he did. This is his practice. Threshing rice for 16 hours, 20 hours a day. Low-level enlightenment is only after Master Hongren spoke the Vajra Sutra for him. That's when he reached higher-level enlightenment, which made him strong enough to be sent away. Okay? at low level, like first or second ground bodhisattva, they're too weak. Fourth ground bodhisattva, they're too weak to really handle life. So he had to bring a certain level before he's able in this fifth day. Okay, now you can go. Okay? And so enlightenment is not apart from the world. To search for bodhi apart from the world, meaning you run away from the world, okay, is like looking for a hare with horns. A rabbit doesn't have horns. So to look for enlightenment away from the world is not possible. And that's exactly what happened. If you're in a Hinayana persuasion, where the favorite practice, the preferred practice is to isolate themselves from the world, they cannot become enlightened. All right? And that's what he's teaching. Any questions about this? Yes, one.
Emitofuo, Master. How about when I'm like working, there's like issue, and then I deal with it, and I quickly go back into my emptiness. Is that okay?
Yeah, your emptiness.
Yeah, is that running away though?
Oh, yeah, that works. Yeah. Whatever. Don't call it emptiness. I'll teach you another word. Okay. Emptiness is Hinayana. We don't do emptiness. Okay? We do no affliction. Okay? So what happened is that when the Hinayana people look at emptiness, okay, they actually are exposing themselves to a certain risk of being attached to the bliss from having no thoughts. Okay? What we do is slightly different. What we do is we engage so that we get afflicted. And that's how we open our wisdom faster than they do. So it's not about, the way you practice that, yes, it's important to you because it helps you, that you didn't experience this before, and it helps you recharge and last longer during the day. Your work days are a lot less stressful. You work this way and then work for you very well. Okay, that's fine. Okay, but it's much more important because that's a skill you have already. Next level is for you to develop the ability to flip in and out, in and out, in and out, much faster. This is what we do. The enlightened people, that's what they do. They flip constantly. They get afflicted, gone, gone, gone. That's how they can engage without any fear. Okay? All right. Too technical, so sorry. Yes. Anyone else? We still have... Yeah, is it over yet? How come I talk so much and I'm not getting anywhere? Yes.
Sorry about that. One more question.
Yes.
So a few days ago, when you were talking to one of the Korean gentlemen, you said that he was able to listen to you because he had blessing with your Dharma.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I plant more blessing with your Dharma this lifetime?
This lifetime?
Yes. So that when you teach, I will actually listen more. If not, then how can I do it next lifetime and also with different Buddhas and Bodhisattva as well?
Don't be so obsessed with that. It's not a big deal, trust me. You make it sound like it's such a big deal. I gotta have more blessings with you. It sounds so bad, okay? It's like some sort of obsession. No, try your best. Don't try so hard. When I talked about someone having blessings, can we measure it this simply? When you have blessings with the Dharma, a particular teacher's Dharma, the tip I gave you is that when your blessings are enough, you'll be able to execute the instruction. He says, cross your legs! And you cross your legs. You're going to say, why? My disciples, when I tell her, why? Every single time, why? So I had to spend time explaining to her, okay. So it's still blessings right there. But he's a little bit sick. So it takes, she has to utilize more blessing for me to explain more to her before she could do it. So if you're able to do it immediately, okay, then you save a lot of blessings. But if you can't, then the more of my time you use, it costs you blessings. Okay, it's cheap, but it costs blessings, that's all. Okay, costs you no money, it just costs blessings. Okay, so that's what I meant. If you listen to the instructions, like the 6th Patriarch, who met the 5th Patriarch for the first time and didn't have a good conversation with him, okay? Because the 5th Patriarch says, hey, what are you doing here? I say, I'm here to seek a Dharma. So the 5th Patriarch says, barbarians, can they become enlightened? So you a barbarian, you expect to become enlightened? Seriously? And the 6th Patriarch, hey, enlightenment does not distinguish between barbarians or civilized people like you. And so he said, this guy has a big mouth, go work. So it didn't go very well. So typically, Americans like us say, he doesn't like me, what am I doing here? Why should I work for him, right? But no. 6th Patriarch said, you want me to go work? I go work. And that's blessings with the 5th Patriarch. Because the 5th Patriarch, it may come across as making fun of him, deriding him, and criticizing him, and looking down upon him, and so forth. That's what he does as a teacher. You don't need to understand why he's doing it. But the great teachers, there's no way for you to gauge what they're up to. That's why they're great teachers. They're great because they're so big. You don't know what the other arms are doing. Like Guanyin Bodhisattva has 1,000 arms. You only see 2. Actually, he has more arms behind her. We don't know what she's doing. You see? And that's what happened to great teachers like Master YongHua, Master Huineng, and so forth. Master 5th Patriarch, who have more wisdom than you. So whatever they do, they have their own reasons. So if you have the blessings with them, your mind tells you, I disagree with this, but your heart tells you to stay put and do it. That's the difference. That's all. There's always a struggle between your mind and your heart. Your mind says, I disagree. Your heart says, it's okay. I disagree, but I'll do it anyway. And this requires blessings. This requires education. That's what I meant by blessings. If you have the blessings, this is when it counts. When the instructions don't make sense to you, your heart says, I do it. For no real justifiable reason at all, your heart says, I want to do it. Okay? And so that's why it's so important, let me tell you, that this is why we have to give the Chinese an edge over us. or the Asians an edge over us. Us, I mean Americans. That is, they are taught traditionally to go plant blessings. But nowadays, they lost the original intent. When back in the 6th Patriarch time, they planted blessings by going to the Patriarch's temple. They heard of a great Patriarch called Huineng or Hongzhen. Everyone sends support there, money, rice, and people and children, and throwing children at them, and so forth, and that's how they planted blessings. Okay. Nowadays, people plant blessings by going to the temple indiscriminately, and do this and do that. And that's why I'm hoping that we should be smarter. If we should be more selective, and like YongHua here used to confuse herself by planting blessings all over. And so after 30, 40 years of hard work and practices, she really got nowhere. Because the wrong fields of blessings. That's why I'm recommending to you. And I know you don't like to hear it, because today, for example, one of my disciples introduced a cousin to me and said, "Master, I like my cousin would request you to help her father go to the Pure Land." So I said, "Okay, yeah, sure. I meet with her." And so I talked to her, and then I said, "What happened to the rest of your family?" He said, "Oh, my family, they go to another temple, and that's what they believe." Okay, and that's what happens. What happens is that when you don't have enough blessings, and you or have blessings from the wrong fields, it slows you down. Because you take a detour, a zigzag. So the point is that the lady here, she believed because of my disciples' belief, disciple faith. Without faith, you can't make it to the Pure Land. Or you have faith in the wrong people, the wrong Dharma, the wrong practices, wrong teachers. You won't make it. Like the guy who I objected going to the Pure Land after he died. Famous Pure Land monk. I object to this. We're busting our butts working, and everyone laughs at us. He goes to the Pure Land? Now I should go to the Pure Land too. Anyway, I'm me. I'm petty. What can I say? I pick fights all the time. I'm crazy, I told you. Anyway, it's not about me, okay? Anyone else? Is it clear? So this is the true Dharma here, where we can we summarize this by something we call Great Assembly. Cultivate with the Great Assembly. Don't cultivate by yourself. Because with many people here, one comes from Korea, one comes from Vietnam, one comes from China, one comes from Taiwan, one comes from who knows where. Okay, I don't know where Burke came from, but he's scary, So you have all these people. It's called Great Assembly. And they cultivate. That's what he means by the world here. We are the world. Way Mountain question.
Oh, thank you, Master. When it talks about enlightenment in this world, You mentioned that one of the signs is no affliction or limited affliction, greatly limited affliction. What other signs of enlightenment are there in this world?
In this world, few afflictions and a lot of afflictions. What I teach is that I teach both. I teach you to first look at your afflictions and get rid of your afflictions. Okay? But the best way to do that, okay, is to get more afflicted by going to a great assembly. Because there are two sides. You yourself, okay, look at your own afflictions and cut them down, okay? At the same time as you expose to new people, crazy people, people of different persuasion, different cultures, some short, some tall, some yellow, some black, okay, and so forth. As new people come, they add more afflictions to you. That's why, and that's what I like to call the middle way, where you cut down affliction, you reduce afflictions, but you also put yourself in position to increase affliction at the same time. I don't know if it makes sense to you. It's not supposed to make sense. If you understand what I'm talking about, like these people, I mean, it's funny because during the weeknights, we listen to Master Shenhua's Dharma, it sounds so simple, right? And you don't realize he has a double entendre, meaning it has a double meaning. Okay? I'm trying to impress you with my français. Okay? So it has double meaning, actually triple and quadruple meaning. And so depending on your level, actually he's referring to something else. It sounds real simple, but actually it has multi-layered teachings. That's Buddhist teaching. Okay? Yeah. So that's why it's important for you to keep on listening and listening and listening over and over and over again. 40 times, 100 times. You think you understand? No, you ain't got nothing yet. Okay? All right. Yes, question from JMT, and then go back to WMT. And we have a lot of MT.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요, 마스터. 제 개인적인 경험으로 이렇게 믿음이나 그다음에 인스트럭션을 이행할 수 있는 것, 그리고 그러니까 수행을 할 때 있어서 자기 보호가 복과 연관이 있다라고 스스로 인식을 했는데, 오늘 질문드리고 싶은 것은 선지식에 대한 로열티도 복과 연관이 있는 건지 질문드립니다.
Master, I thought my faith and then the ability to carry on your instruction is related with blessing. And how about the loyalty to the good knowing advisor? Is it also related with blessing?
The what? Loyalty to good knowing advisor? Could you repeat that word only?
The loyalty to the good knowing advisor.
One more time.
Royalty.
Stay out of it. Again.
Royalty.
Royalty. You're so cruel. You know, the Koreans, they don't have the R word. So for them, it's like R and L is very similar. So that's why we're confused. Royalty. Is that what you said? You see? She heard me as royalty, but she meant loyalty. There's no enlightenment there. You're that confused. Okay. Anyway, so what is the question again?
The loyalty to the good knowing advisor, is it related with blessing?
Yes, absolutely. It's the higher forms of blessings. For example, Master Shenhua disciples are extremely loyal to him. They have that kind of blessings. Because of that, they cannot go wrong. What happened to them, unfortunately for Master Shenhua, is that because they're so loyal to him, now he has to save them. Because otherwise it looks bad. The pressure is on him. Do you agree? I mean, they're so loyal to me, and look at them, they are like losers. My God, how could I, live with that? My disciples are losers and they're loyal to me. So actually, so it's they get more help than us, disloyal disciples. Now, people might object to me, especially you intellectuals, says, why? What about loyalty to a loser, loyalty to a bad king or a bad emperor? Yeah, you'll be in trouble. But you pick right, you're loyal to a good emperor. Look at all the good things you're going to have. So these people, they are loyal to a great teacher. That's blessings. See that? So that's we're talking about premium blessings, you will. Okay? All right. Way Mountain, going back to Way Mountain.
Thank you, Master. Do bodhisattva build a blessing too? Needs to build blessing too?
Oh, you bet. Who are bodhisattvas loyal to?
Buddha, I guess.
Buddha, see? Bodhisattvas are extremely loyal to the Buddhas. All bodhisattvas are extremely loyal to the Buddha. That's their blessings. So that's why these individuals are special. Okay? Whereas we have doubts, okay, about our teachers, and that's because we lack blessings. Whereas the bodhisattvas, they have zero doubts about their teachers, the Buddhas. You have doubt because you don't have enough blessings. You're still scheming, I'm not sure I'm getting the best out of this, Let me try to get some more. Okay, let me try maneuver. But bodhisattvas, they don't worry about it. They say, whatever happens, he's my Buddha. That's special blessings. So such thoughts won't even arise. You shield it from unnecessary thoughts, from wasting your life, your time, your efforts, your energy. That's what the patriarch is referring to. That you see the Buddha in a position where they help the bodhisattvas in a way that bodhisattvas have no more doubts. about anything they're told. Whereas us, we sometimes question, Buddha said that, is it for real, really? Okay, yes. 2.
Dear Master, I just have a question out of curiosity. So if Master Xuanhua's followers are so loyalty to him, and therefore they should have his blessing, so why have they not been sent to another good, great advisor so that it can be less work for him? And it's more practical for him instead of him, still being around and work on them so much.
Yeah. I don't know. He's he and I'm me. So I would do what you do. I would say, go to Master Xuanhua, go to Master so-and-so, they can save you. Go to 2nd Patriarch, he can save you. All right. So that's what I would do too. Okay, it's just common sense. But Master Xuanhua is not a common sense person. He is a glutton for punishment kind of person. He always takes a loss. If it's between the choices of 2 things, he pick the one that is worse for him. That's him. And that's why he's a different kind of individual. I never met anyone like that. Never. Alive. Never met anyone. In the flesh. So that's one of the things he did. He came to our world, took on this human body in order to teach us that, to demonstrate that you can be totally selfless with this body of ours. It's incredible. Okay? And before I forget, and I apologize, I get distracted very easily by, I don't know, kids running around maybe. They look funny. Oh, the little, the tiny fingers. Anyway, someone asked me earlier, what's the spelling? Xuanhua, the 2 spellings. One that they use over on their side, and one we use is pinyin. The other one is more like British, jails and whales and giles or whatever. Whatever you choose, it's okay, because nowadays, actually, I did a search on Master Xuanhua using both spellings, and the results of both came up. So it doesn't matter at all. I happen to prefer the pinyin because I feel that it's, if you want to learn from a Chinese, be more respectful. Okay? Use their notations. Use the original notation that Master Xuanhua taught. Okay? And he learned the traditional language, the traditional characters. So in Chinese, for example, it is simplified Chinese, which most of the Chinese use nowadays. And the original unsimplified or traditional Chinese characters, that's where actually the original teaching was translated into. Okay? And it contains a lot more information than simplified Chinese. So that's why for us, we prefer to use traditional characters, Chinese characters, when we learn the Buddhism in Chinese. And then we prefer to use pinyin to show our appreciation for the Chinese culture. Instead of using the whatever the scholars use here, they prefer to use here in our country, which is more for Westerners. Okay, so I feel I'm trying to convey, send you a message. If you're going to learn the Chinese, be more respectful, make the effort, and don't make the Chinese into something American or European. Okay, respect them. So learn the language, learn the notations. It doesn't take long to learn. The pinyin is fairly similar. Okay. You only need to learn, like I say, 20 different characters, that's all. So to me, it's like a little bit arrogant for you to come in and say, you know, I have this Chinese thing here, we Romanize it our style. Whereas maybe it was specified when there's no pinyin was not invented yet. But in our generation, you have to choose between the European or the non-Chinese standard versus the Chinese standard. I would choose Chinese, that's all. So I have the advantage, that's all, okay? And going back, okay, now I got distracted again. What was it I was in the middle of explaining? No one's listening. Yeah, three.
Emitofuo Master, you was talk about he fresh rice and then until he Master Hongren explained Vajra Sutra.
That's an hour ago. Don't add more confusion to my muddled mind already. What was your original question, young lady? Oh, why did he, why would he not refer people and so and so? Okay. Because at the time, I feel at the time, he looked around, he saw no good teachers. So he couldn't refer them to anyone else. Yes, continue. 2.
So I'm asking the question because it's from speaking of my own experience. When I know Master YongHua, he already died, and for some reason he has been. It feels like he's the greatest master on earth to me, for some reason, and I feel like he led me here to see you, so that was the reason that I asked the question.
Many people told me that, and I didn't believe any of them.
Yes, because in the end,
because they all left after they said that, and I said, "For real? Are you for real? Okay, let me give you some tests and see if really he sent you here." Because so what happened is that all of them, except for you so far, all of them were sent here, and then I said, "Okay, you sent here, then I can do with you as I please." So I started teaching them and testing them, and they're all gone now. The one who referred to me. I hope you'll be different. They came to me, like I remember this lady here, very, very early on my teaching at Lu Mountain Temple. Tiny, tiny temple. No one liked me. I have a big mouth, the disciples there were loyal to Master YongHua and everything else. I came in, I said, okay. I taught slightly differently. And they didn't last very long. And so early on, I started teaching both Chinese and Pure Land. At the time, YongHua was still, up north here in San Jose, busy with her followers, and didn't believe much. Okay, but there's a disciple, there's a person who is a disciple of Master Shenhua's group, and he says, I prayed to Master Shenhua to guide her to find a Pure Land teacher. And she kept on praying. 6 months later, all of a sudden, she decided to come to Lu Mountain Temple. Lu Mountain Temple, you haven't been there. It's impossible to find. Okay, it's in no transportation. You drive by, you won't even notice it. But she said, all of a sudden one day, she's after praying to him for a long time for guidance to find a Pure Land teacher. That's all she wanted. She wanted to learn how to get to the Pure Land, to recite the Buddha's name. And so he says, after 6 months or so praying to him, one day she decided to try to Lu Mountain Temple for no real reason. And she was there, and at the time, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I was not at the temple. You think in a small temple I'd be there cultivating, and perfect environment to use for cultivating and become enlightened. So no, I was out there running around in the world. And so, and it was, so she waited for me for around 6 hours. Okay, I came back, and she had to go home and cook for the husband and the daughters. But she came back and looked for me again, and eventually, she shaved her head. And couldn't take the training of a left-home person. So she quit. And before she quit, because she negotiated with me. She said, you don't bow to my demands, I will quit. I said, okay, I quit. I don't bow to girls. But since you're quitting, I tell you what, I write you a good reference letter to the CTTP. You go there. You survived with me for 10 months now, or 6 months now, whatever, however long. That's equivalent to, in my mind, several years of the training. So you qualified, in my mind, okay? So you go there, and you continue. Don't go back. Don't go home. Don't return to lay life. It would be a waste of all the thing you achieved so far. So she went there, and she's very happy. She said, oh, I'm going to a better place, much better environment, much better training, and so forth. And these people are brutal. They look at her and say, you have too many faults. We don't want you. I said, seriously? And he says, well, how about my coming here to join you for the 4-Chi alone? I said, don't even think about it. So Master Shenhua just send the worst kind of people to me, is my answer to you. But we're desperate. We take anyone. You see, the Buddha Dharma is in the world. You don't say, this and that and this and that, you too much trouble, okay, I take you because you have you go faster, you improve faster. No, you embrace everyone. Okay, if you meet certain criteria, for cultivation, you'll be accepted. Okay, and it's not about how difficult, how much more work it is to deal with you. It's just that you meet the stuff, you'll be given a chance. But what happened is that you don't have enough blessings, so it's not. You cannot blame him for not sending people, or not dividing the workload. It's just that those people don't have enough blessings. Because if had she stayed, right now she should be better than his disciples already. She's been like the early. She was like before even the most recent abbot even shaved her head. That's a long, long time ago. She's like at the same time as Xian Shun, so at least she should be a vice abbot already. You look at, our people, you look at them, they have so many faults. If they make it, so can you, come on. All you have to do is not quit, and which is the hardest thing to do. You all try to outsmart me. That's a funny thing. There's a girl to try to outsmart me. And that's why she's outsmarted herself. That's all. The Master Shenhua sent her to me already because what happened is I taught her how to recite the Buddha's name. Within 3 months or 6 months, okay, her health, she overcame her health issues that no one could teach her how to do. And you think that with that, she said, wow, it's something worthwhile because I'm a different person. I used to have all these illnesses, now I don't have it anymore. But no, she has to cross the swords with me, using her wits. And she was outwitted. Tough luck. Not just her, so many of his disciples try to outwit me too. But I'm crazy, you can outwit me, but I will beat the heck out of you. It hurts. I'm a brute. Right? When I punch, it hurts. All right, time is up, and thank you all for coming. You're so special. So far. Don't quit, okay? Yeah, in the back. What number is that? Chinese.
Hello? Yes. Hello, Master. We would like to make an announcement that tomorrow some of your Bay Area Chinese disciples are cooking a pre-Thanksgiving feast with Chinese dumplings, noodles, special dishes. So we would like to invite everyone to come and join us tomorrow at DDT.
All right, how nice of you. Somebody said, why wait till tomorrow? Okay, you heard it. Everyone who has a chance to stop by DTT, you happen to be in the area, we are in the midst of our winter chanting, but we're going to have a party tomorrow.
Yay.
I'm sorry, there's some of you who came from very far coming to Wei Mountain Temple to try to learn to do chanting. Now you know who we really are. We are party animals. But But thank you for the invitation. I was told not to invite people because you don't want to be overwhelmed. But I said, now I'm glad that you let go of that attachment. We overwhelm. We always buy, more sandwiches. Or instant noodles. Chung Yin Sunim is excellent at instant noodles. He has I noticed he's like a dozen instant noodle boxes stashed away. Yeah. Koreans, Koreans and Japanese, they're instant noodle people. You see, the point here is that we share what we have. Okay? But thank you for the invite. I'm very glad you did. So everyone is invited, okay? All right? And of course, it's not compulsory. If you wish to be a true cultivator, eat lightly and go back and cultivate. Become enlightened and come back and save us all. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.